This series focused on spraying everything down with the hose and looking at the sculptures and the displays when they are wet. This has really been a lot of fun to film because it has been probably the only time I have systematically gone through everything here, both sculptures and the rock displays. It's probably as close as I will ever come to any type of cataloging effort for Granite Paradise and its rocks. Good heavy rainstorms have been kind of rare in recent years, but this one came along at just the right time, and I thought I would start this fourth video in the series by doing a quick walk around so that you can see a good portion of it all wet at the same time. Be sure to stick with us to the end because today we will see several more awesome sculptures and displays, and our friend Adam from Oregon will be taking us out on one of his favorite rivers to show us where the rocks on that particular display are coming from. Kind of a big day today. I hope we can get it all in. And we still have at least one more of these videos to go, maybe two. Depends how thorough I want to get. Yes, it seems that when I think I'm about done, more rocks and more sculptures just keep appearing out of nowhere. Because of the cataloging aspect of this series that I mentioned, after they are all done, I will likely stitch them all together into a kind of supercut for anyone interested in seeing it all in one long video. Sort of a guided tour of the sculpture garden here. Hello, my name is Chris, and I'm a rockaholic. As has become our custom of late, we will start out by looking at a few more benches. This first one being of Red Dragon, which is a very hard granitic rock quarried in China. Despite the veined appearance, the material must be very dense because this has been sitting out here for at least 10 years, and it shows no sign of the frost getting in and splitting it along these veins, which usually tends to happen in rocks that are fractured by nature. This second bench is of Emerald Pearl, which is a pearlescent larvitite quarried in Norway. Both of these rocks are what we would call intrusive igneous rocks, or granitic rocks. It is very similar in origin to the Blue Pearl bench that we saw in the previous video. It is also very solid, which is why it, along with Blue Pearl, has been traditionally used as tombstones for many years because of its ability to be out in the weather. The lapidary favorite, known as labradorite, is just a larger version of these flashy feldspar crystals that we are seeing in these rocks. So after we get them dried off, have a seat and enjoy the rest of the show today. I am calling this one the Poudre Canyon display because the bulk of the rocks, and there are some really big ones here, they are from the Cache la Poudre Canyon northwest of Fort Collins, Colorado. Many of these are from road cuts and other places where rough rock has been available to me. The sandstones and conglomerates down near the bottom are from a location just west of town here at the foot of the mountains, and they are samples of the steeply uplifted sedimentary rocks that flank the front range of the Rockies, and are composed of sands and gravels that existed here before the Rocky Mountains were uplifted. These bright red pieces are likely hematite and would make an amazingly vivid red dye. Trevor found these with me and said that it was incredibly dense in color when he ran it through his saw. What is notable is the abundance of heavier mafic rocks in that canyon, darker in color, many being magnetic, as well as the abundance of other heavy minerals such as garnet, epidote, magnetite, and others. The nice green epidote rocks, especially the ones on top, as well as the large unakite gneisses, are from nearby Wrist Canyon, which cuts through many similar mafic rock formations. The large grouping of quartz crystal cavities, some being amethyst and others having bright red hematite coatings, are from the Rainbow Lode Quarry, which is in the Red Feather Lakes area northwest of Fort Collins. Grant and I collected these quite a few years ago when the local rock club got access to do a field trip to the quarry. Oh, I would imagine that was in maybe 2012 or so. It was quite a while ago. Before doing this series, these rocks were scattered all over the sculptures, but now finally they are all here to be enjoyed together. On the very bottom shelf, we see an assortment of fossiliferous stones containing shells. Yes, all of these sediments were once at the bottom of the ocean, even here as high above sea level as we are now. All of these came from a number of construction sites on the south side of town, but they can be found in the shales all up and down the Front Range. You may notice quite a few lighter colored granites, such as the largest one standing up on top of the sculpture. These are actually fluorescent under UV light. When I do a longer video specifically about these, I will definitely film them now that they are all gathered onto one sculpture like this. We are also blessed here with a good assortment of large migmatites. Migmatites are the rocks with the general swirling and banded patterns. Really doesn't matter what color they are. If they have those patterns, they are likely migmatites, which are very common along the course of the canyon. These rocks formed at great depths, basically where the crust partially melts down near its union with the mantle. In the playlist I mentioned earlier, there are a few videos that I filmed up in the canyon itself, as well as in the next canyon over, south of us, which is known as the Big Thompson Canyon. Both of these have amazing geology and great rocks to find, but the canyon represented on this sculpture is much more dominated by mafic rocks of very deep origins, which makes this a very cool collection once we start to understand what we are looking at. There is really a lot of local geology represented on this one sculpture. At some point, I hope to meet someone much more knowledgeable and qualified than I am to kindly go over these rocks in more detail with us. I call this one Jack's Beanstalk because not only does it have what appear to be convenient handholds, yes, I've actually tried to climb up it and it is possible. But it is also one of the narrowest sculptures in relation to its height. Although at the moment it is completely empty of rocks, it has had different displays of rocks on it over the years, and it itself has been through several incarnations, similar to what I shared with you about Jacob's Ladder in the previous video. Probably the most notable of those displays was an elaborate assortment of wrist canyon epidotes on the very top, with several metallic wind spinners inserted to give the appearance of a bouquet of flowers. But the wind up there was far too strong and was bending the stakes and tearing off the spinners. It was quite a project and it looked great while it lasted, if I do say so myself. It was really fun to build and I filmed the whole process. I will link the video about building that display here at the end. And here is the thumbnail to give you an idea. Similar to Jacob's Ladder, this sculpture is built out of one of our more common bathroom oval sink sizes over the years. That size was so common that this sculpture is entirely made of the same cutout size, and 5 out of every 6 pieces on Jacob's Ladder are also this same size. The North Platte display consists of river cobbles collected at various places along that river in southern Wyoming. It is a well-known treasure trove of banded iron formation, of which a few really nice pieces are shown here, but be sure to watch the next video in the series because we will be seeing on a different sculpture the bulk of my banded iron, as it simply would not fit on the sculpture here. Alan as well as Grant have taken me up to places like Glendo Reservoir and also several points further upstream over the years. Really, the main difference in the rock hounding from place to place is that the rocks get bigger as you go upstream, especially the banded iron. Alan and I even did some collecting in kayaks, both at Glendo and I believe the other lake was Pathfinder Reservoir. Yes, fill up your kayak with iron ore and then paddle across a large lake in Wyoming, which is easily one of the windiest places you could be. No YouTube channel at that time, but that would have been an epic video for sure. I remember the water was like right up to the lip of coming into the kayak, and Alan and I went over the procedure if we should sink rapidly, how to quickly get our legs out from between all the rocks and get out of it. Yikes, some of the things we've done. Alan and Grant, a huge shout out to both of you for such good times. Keep in mind that the North Platte cuts through entire landscapes made of prehistoric gravels that, in some places, are hundreds of feet deep. The complex geology of the various orogenies that gave rise to today's Rocky Mountains, along with the previous erosion of existing landscapes at the time, have contributed to an endless variety of rocks, including jaspers, agates, petrified wood, banded iron, and, as is the focus of my channel, a jackpot of what we call all those other rocks. Grant and I actually just went up there last summer to an area close to Glendo, and here is the thumbnail of that video should you want to see what those hills of gravel actually look like. Okay, now we are back to one of the true giants of granite paradise, and that is the Tower of Babel. Though I have not calculated its weight, I am sure by far that this is the heaviest one of the sculptures. It's a solid 5 foot by 5 foot, roughly square, and mostly solid, not to mention the extensions of the shelves sticking out all the way around, plus all the rocks that are on it, which we'll go into here in a little while. And it's maybe 15 feet high or so. It does taper some with elevation, and it does have some hollow cavities inside, but I think 50,000 pounds is not unreasonable here. My original intention was to have it look like a cut and shaped stone rising out of a mountainous terrain, which to me represents well the idea of man trying to forge something out of the earth during those primitive times when somehow we thought that we could reach heaven by building our way up to it. You know, as I think about humanity, maybe we have not changed much in that regard. And obviously, it has to be big, considering that all these slabs came into the yard one or two at a time, mostly carried by me, and they went through the normal process that I have described in past sculpture build videos, where each piece gets moved many, many times before it finally finds its place. This was a big project. I actually intended to go higher with it, and the top, being flat, really is inviting me to do so. But I would need to cannibalize something around here in order to have more granite, because remember, I'm not bringing home any more granite now. But for now, I think it looks fine the way it is. The top is literally right at the level of the second floor window you see there in the intro picture. And so I have thought about putting a unique display of large rocks there that can be seen only from that window, or maybe a good heavy sculpture of someone or something watching over the yard. It's a good feeling to know that there is still room for new ideas and lots more rocks around here. All right, let's get into the rocks now. Jen R. up in Montana, if you're watching this, you may recognize all the goodies you gave me that day back in 2018 or so. Yes, Jen moved to Montana from Oregon while I was up there running the giant saw that I've told you guys about. And she showed up with a huge U-Haul van packed with, you guessed it, boxes, buckets, crates, all full of rocks. I don't even think there was any furniture in there. I think it was like 90% rocks. At least that's how I'm remembering it. She had a beautiful collection of carnelian agates and things like that in jars that she kept, of course. But I helped her get it all unloaded, and she let me pick a good load of treasures as payment. She gave me a mix of basalts, agates, petrified wood, and other treasures. But most notably from her, I got the beautiful fossil shells and the tumbled corals that you see at one point here in the display. The obsidians came from a couple of different people in the local rock club when there were rock sales and such. In fact, just a few weeks ago, I acquired the sunstone-bearing basalt that you see piled near the bottom. Yes, those plain brown rocks that are piled up there, kind of smaller pieces. But they supposedly are loaded with, possibly, Gemstones within. A lady in our neighborhood had a garage sale, and well, I could not resist. She sold it all to me for $10. So, rocks are still trickling in. I looked up the material on Google to see what I was getting, and sure enough, it's the exact same stuff. So I was really glad that opportunity came up. I just got word that Adam is ready and waiting for us, so we better hurry up. Pretty much everything else you see is from Adam, from his eBay store, West Coast Rocks. A minute ago, for example, you saw some vividly colored brecciated basalts, which we were calling Christmas rock for a while, with the red and white patterns. We also see a vivid mix of rhyolites, basalts, porphyritic and amygdaloidal basalts, with the little agates in them, jade, jaspers, travertines, brecciated rhyolites, orbicular rhyolites, the so-called bullseye agates, which are really spherules of radiating quartz crystals upon closer inspection. And the list goes on. These have all been highlighted in earlier videos in my Rocks in the Mail series. I'm not sure how many things they'll let me add at the end here, but I'll try to add that as well. Anyway, I recently acquired this 17-pound brecciated rhyolite, and it is our lead-in to the visit with Adam out on the river that I promised you guys at the beginning of the video. Watch for this rock. I think you will be able to pick it out right away, and Adam shares a few other really cool treasures with us too.
Hey everybody, I'm out on a new spot today on the river on a massive gravel bar. There's Lacey. Lacey, say hi. Lacey. She's helping rock count, as you can see. We've got some pretty good rapids down here below me. And I have to say I find a lot of red jasper here, but I have a green jasper below me that I'm about to show you guys, and typically I find some small green ones and they're usually pretty vibrant, but I have a green jasper boulder down here. I'm gonna put you in the bucket to see. Hopefully that works. And we're gonna unearth it together, but I can see that green already. And it's got a lot of algae on top, but I'm hoping it's green below too. Let's check it out. About 2 feet deep here, so hang on. Oh. Okay, let's pull that out and look at that. That looks incredible. Woo, look at that green. Okay. Oh, it's heavy. Shore here. Oh my goodness. Here's what we could see top side. Oh, I lost it. Gone forever. I'm only kidding, but look at that green. It's incredible. Had to share that with you guys. Whew, I was hoping it'd be like that on the bottom. You can't ever tell though. That's all we could see from the top side. Full of algae. Down over here. And it's a beauty. I have a big one down here to show you guys. This thing is cool. Let me get it up on the paddleboard. Oh, it's heavy. It's got to be about 20 pounds. That's some awesome patterns.
That's the rock I was telling you guys about. Now you know what it took to get it here on the sculpture.
Flip it over. It's like a geometric rhyolite. All kinds of patterns and crystallizations in there. It's a big boy. It's about 20 pounds or more. Kayaked over here to this cool underwater gravel bar. I'm gonna have an orbicular rhyolite down here to show you. Doesn't look like much now. Wait till you see it out of the water. Let's see what the other side looks like. Oh, that is cool. Let's see if I can get the light better for you. They're a rare find. They are sure neat when you see them.
Wow, thanks so much, Adam, for taking us along for a few cool finds. When I consider what goes into finding these rocks, and especially these bigger ones, such as the one I pointed out to you, Adam's prices are extremely reasonable. He has given me the chance to have a good representation of the geology and rocks of a really fascinating area that I cannot simply go to myself. So this is awesome to have him share his experiences with us, especially in his kayak, since I was mentioning kayaks earlier. Well, that about does it for today. We still have at least one more solid video of spraying down yet more sculptures, possibly even two. Like I said, more stuff just keeps showing up as I look around. God bless you guys. Please do all that good YouTube stuff, as it really does make a difference. Like, share, subscribe. Maybe share the videos with your local rock clubs. That would be great. We'll see you next time.